Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue, all thanks to Palmerbet. And I'll tell you what, Giz, I've got a little bit of a complexion here because I'm feeding him and glowing.
Nice glow of it,
I
mate.
don't know what it is. I think it's just the light or
Yeah.
something, but it's just I have to
Must
apologize.
be, must be the skincare products, mate, you're using. It's coming
You
up
know what,
well.
mate? My partner's got the new range of skincare too, and she has been trying to get it on the old face to time, but I don't think you can't polish a turd, Gids. As they
Mate, you're looking good. You're looking good.
Mate, hey, listen, great to be here. And another cracking round last weekend, wasn't it? It's just the season's it's just going so well, Gids, isn't it?
Yeah, well, mate, there continues to be, mate, a few upsets, that's for sure. And, mate, a few close games, which is, from a spectator's point of view, great to see some tight matches. Draw last weekend, I think one or two golden points. So, yeah, there's some real tight ones, mate, which is exciting from a fan's perspective. But obviously, mate, when you go down to those golden point games, it can be pretty heartbreaking.
Well, I tell you what, kids, I had Canberra Raiders going in the last leg of a big multi AFL and
Oh,
NRL, and with about 4.5 minutes to go, 10 up, I'm thinking, here we go, count the cash. But gee whiz, they made hard work of it. And in the end,
they made it hard.
Raiders they were pretty lucky to get away with it, really.
Mate, they were, but field goal in extra time or golden point, mate. So yeah, they were lucky to get away with it, and they make it hard, mate, for their fans watching their type of games. But yeah, mate, they're still going pretty well, that's for sure. They'll be up for another big one this week.
Hey, let's have a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly of the round. And the good was, of course, all the close finishes. So we just touched on the Raiders and the Titans, the draw between the Warriors and the Manly Sea Eagles. So that couldn't even get a result in extra time or golden point. Roosters and Storm win by 2. Seriously, it was just a ripping round of NRL, and it just shows how tight. And if you're not on your medal, anything will happen. It's as simple as that, isn't it, kids?
Oh, Matty, for sure, mate. I mean, I was at the Knights Roosters game there on the Thursday night. It was a pretty cracking game. I thought it was a game of four quarters, really, and Knights got off to a flying start. Roosters came back pretty dominated for those sort of two middle quarters, and then the Knights came back last 20, and even to the last set of the game, they had an opportunity
They
to
did.
Kalen Ponga made a line break last kick return, and it was a pretty exciting finish, but Knights couldn't get it done. The other game that I was watching was the Warriors and the Eagles, mate, over in New Zealand. I thought it was a cracking game, and actually, I thought the Warriors the penalty on Sean Johnson there for the attempted field goal. I thought that was average to soft, soft. I mean,
I'm with
they
you.
are penalising obviously for those type of charge downs or pressure on the kickers these days, and they were able to pick up, or they were able to take the game into golden point, the Warriors, but probably thankfully the both teams got a 1 point out of it. I thought that it was a bit hard done by for Manly, mate, in that game.
I just want to go back to your Knights
Great
too,
contest.
kids. I really, there's just that last play. There's a few boys that were gassed, and they just need to kind of be in the contest, didn't they? They had nothing left, I don't think, and that little support run had to come through. I
Yeah,
think they would have been over and they would have scored and would have got the job done. So, yeah, it's just a game of inches, as we know
it
so
is,
well.
mate.
What about the bad? The Cowboys, Parramatta hoodoo continues. Plenty of errors for the Cowboys, whose record got even worse in Parramatta after their 27-20 loss. They've still not won at Parramatta since 2015, Gids. Uh,
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I remember us talking about it last week, that statistic, and unbelievable, mate. That mate, geez, I tell you that, mate, the Eels were under some serious pressure there last week. Obviously, they got their star half, Mitchell Moses, missing at the moment, which makes it hard for any team who's got their first starting half and game player missing. But a big win for mate the Eels there, and another, I guess, poor loss from the Cowboys at Parramatta Stadium.
Yeah, unbelievable, mate. And the ugly, and it doesn't get much uglier for poor old South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Gold Coast Titans. They sit alone at the bottom of the ladder after 6 rounds. Is their seasons, are they both over?
Mm.
Can they resurrect? Can they make finals from here? What do you reckon, buddy? And I must say, the Titans I thought were pretty stiff in the end. They were charging against a side that's in pretty good form in the Raiders, and just a few things didn't go their way. So they're knocking on the.
Mm. Yeah, I think there was a fair penalty count against the Titans for that game. Mate, pretty funny press conference by Sticky after the game. when they shared Desi's comments to Sticky, which was he had a good crack and a bit of a blow up and pretty protective. So that was definitely worth a watch. But mate, I think that both teams are struggling. There's no doubt about that, especially defensively. Obviously, the Titans underwhelming with Desi coming in, and the Bunnies are just a headline every day at the moment. Obviously, mate, I thought they actually played well. I watched a fair bit of that game, and I thought Jai Gray, the fullback who filled in for Latrell, had a real dig.
Yep.
He had I think he picked up a head knock late in the game, sort of that last 10 to 15 minutes. He would have been good. That made they were down to I think one reserve, South Sydney at that stage,
Nothing going
and no, nothing going right for them. But I thought they had a dig. I thought they did have a dig. They obviously dropped Damien Cook for that game too, who's been a regular for the Bunnies for a number of years and an Origin player. So, but it doesn't relieve the pressure that that club and the coach is under.
Oh, the pressure just keeps mounting, doesn't it?
The Bunnies, I was looking up the next two games. Bunnies have got a bye this week, which obviously gives them a bit of breathing space, and then they've got Storm and the Panthers after that.
Mm. Not easy
tough
run for
ones.
him, mate, is it? Yeah, I think something's going to give, isn't it? In the next couple of weeks. To be honest, kids, you hate to say it or hate to see it, but the pressure's got to be building at that club, and there's no doubt going to be a lot of talk behind the scenes that we're not going to be privy to. But there's obviously a fair bit going on, isn't there?
There's a fair bit going on. The players aren't, disciplined. There's a lack of, confidence and morale is down. There's no doubt about that. So it is hard to pick yourself up day to day, but start with the small areas that what individually you can bring to the team. That's the most important thing in doing your job.
Yeah, spot on, mate. Spoken like a true champion that you are, Gids. An absolute machine, big fella. Hey, listen, let's have a look at our tips for last week. Went the same. Both scored the 5 out of 8. We both missed on the 9th. Stiff for mine. Cowboys were disappointing. Tigers we both went with. They were a tad disappointing as well, but 5 out of 8, that's a pass mark, I reckon, Gids, for us. And
Pass mark, yeah.
pat on the back. Your Gids get on for last week. South plus 8.5. Total tries between 9 and 10, which you kicked off there. So that was spot on, mate.
Yeah, tough one to pick that one too. Total tries between 9 and 10, but yeah, needed 12.5 start instead of the 8.5 start. So only one from 2 there, mate.
But not too far away, mate, which is exciting. And I went for the 13 plus 4 teams multi, 13 plus for the Knights let me down. Storm the same, 13 plus. Broncos never let me down. I love the Bronx, 13 plus. They saluted the Raiders. Well, with about 4.5, 5 minutes to go, I thought, we might be a little sneaky chance here to get the 13 plus, but ended up being very, very tight. So and went to Golden Point.
Yeah, most games were tight, mate. Most games were tight last weekend.
Hey, listen, let's have a look at our top 8 skids. We done these about 8 or 9 weeks ago,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And we're going to start off with your top 8. So your top 8, you had the Panthers, who are currently sitting in 6th, and they are a lock. They'll play finals, kids, make no mistake. There want to be a lot of stuff go wrong for them not to play finals.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, it's interesting, mate, where we're at the moment. I mean, to see, Broncos out of the 8 at the moment, Roosters only just outside of the 8, Knights are well outside of the 8, who was, I guess, a biased pick, mate, by myself. But, mate, the Sharks really flying under the radar, Matty, I reckon, at the moment. Yep. No headlines, no talk of them. Yep. I was surprised to see him in currently first position at the moment.
So was that.
But there's been zero talk about him. So they'd be loving that. And yeah, look, I think I just looked at the Broncos team again that they've named this week. It's a pretty classy team. So I'd expect they'll be climbing up the ladder throughout the year and be, top 4 towards the end of the year. Panthers, they're currently in 6, but we're still early in the season too. Nathan Cleary's been out. But decent pass mark. I'm 5 from 8. You're
mate,
not so much of a pass mark.
Yeah, 4, but my 2 real worries, like your only concern probably is the Knights, who are currently sitting in 14th from your top 8. I had the Titans, mate, and they have absolutely...
You've got a couple of big worries there.
They have let me down like you would not believe. I'd love to sub them out and get your little red line, red marker, and put a line through them. And the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, mate.
Mate, pass...
I've just marked them.
Give it to me, mate.
Mate, I'm putting a red line through the Titans now.
Gee
For
whiz.
you?
And you're going to do the same with the Rabbits?
No, I can't do that to the Rabbits at the moment. Who knows what's going to happen, mate? The coach could get sacked and they could lift. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Mm.
Players could get shifted on and they might lift. Whatever's there at the moment, they need to make some changes, and that normally ends up with personnel getting moved on, whether it's coaching staff or players,
I tell you what,
to get a
you
response.
keep hearing that Sammy Burgess name as potential back there, and maybe
He's
that
doing a good job, mate, over at the Warrington Wolves, my former club over there. He's doing a really good job.
flying, and they love him by all accounts. And he played the game, but yeah, I think he set standards, Gids, and I actually think from an outsider looking in, I think that's what the Rabbitohs need. Someone to come
Yeah, for
and
sure.
rule with a bit of an iron fist and say, hey, listen, this is how we're doing it now. If you're not going to buy in, there's the door, skedaddle.
100%, mate.
Righto, big fella. Let's have a look at this round 7 action. It starts Thursday night footy. Massive game. These two sides, they hate each other, kids. Let's be honest. The Roosters and the Storm. 7:50 p.m. at Allianz Stadium. It'll be a big crowd. Head-to-head, the Roosters $1.89. Storm at $1.90. The line, you don't get much tighter than this. Plus point and a half, $1.90. Storm point 1.5 or 0.5, 0.15 at $1.90. Well, key talking points, all thanks to Palmerbet. Roosters coming off a tough win against the Knights. They'll be boosted by the return of James Tedesco and Sammy Walker. So a couple of real good players coming in. Storm looking for their 3rd win in a row after narrowly beating the Dogs last week. Storm dominance. The Storm have won 8 of their last 9 games against the Roosters. Roosters have not beaten the Storm in Sydney since 2019. That is a stat, kids. And I think the old Melbourne Storm, mate, they're going to continue that track this weekend or this Thursday.
Yeah, Matty, I'm with you. I think they will, mate. Yeah, $1.90 head-to-head for the Storm, mate, going into this game. I mean, that's a pretty healthy stat. They've won their last 8 of 9 games against the Roosters. As you said, mate, James Tedesco back and Sam Walker. I thought Joey Manu last week against the Knights at fullback. I mentioned him anytime he shifts to fullback, it just brings opens some freedom for him, and that's dangerous when you're the opposition team, because he can play all over the field, and he was really dangerous. He was impressive there last week, from line breaks to try assists to amount of meters he gained during that game. So I'd give him a license to roam, even though he's playing at centre. He's actually just signed for Japanese rugby today to go overseas at the end of this year, which is a big call. I think he's still only pretty young. He's obviously a top player. Big call for him to leave the NRL at the end of this year. But mate, I'm going Storm head-to-head for this one.
Well, kids, I'm going to get back to my bet later on. I'm thinking, and I might be totally wrong here, but I'm thinking the Storm comfortably here. I just got that feeling. I reckon they're just about to really start ramping things up, and I reckon they've just got the wool over the Roosters, and I'll leave it to a little bit later on, but I reckon it's going to be a high-scoring, free-flowing affair, and I reckon the Storm are going to win comfortably.
Man, I reckon last week was a pretty tough game. I think the Knights game was a seesaw game, and I think it was pretty physical between both forward packs. And again, mate, I'm looking at both forward packs again for this game, and I think it's going to be a tough one. That's where it's going to be won.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Righto, Dragons, Warriors. This game Friday, 6 p.m. at Wynn Stadium. Head-to-head, Dragons $2.50. Warriors $1.48. At the line, the Dragons plus $6.5, $1.90. Warriors minus $6.5 at $1.90. Key talking points, all thanks to Palmerbet. Dragons coming off a good win against the Tigers, but they may be without Jackie Bird. For the Warriors, they need to back up their first draw of the season against the Sea Eagles. They would have been disappointed last week. No consistency. The Dragons have not won in consecutive weeks since 2022. So that's a big concern. I want the Warriors. I reckon they would have been disappointed last week at home not to come away with the win, Gids. And does that steal them up against the Dragons, or are we not giving the Dragons enough credit?
Well, mate, they've played an extra 10 minutes in that game, so you think they'll be a bit knackered from that game. I think they were lucky to get 1 point out of that Manly game, the Warriors. Mate, I don't know, I've spoken about this before, but Wynn Stadium. Something about Wynn Stadium for the Dragons. They lift for that game. They lift when they play down there. Can do bizarre things, mate, to the opposition team. The wind close to the coast. So this could be an opportunity, if you're brave, in really backing an upset with the Dragons here. I'm not going to do it. Not for this week, mate, to pick my round. But I'm going to stick with the Warriors. Um, but the Warriors could potentially be tired on the back of that Golden Point playing, running out that full Golden Point time frame. So, and the Dragons at home or at Wynn Stadium, they do something funny down there, mate. I don't know what it is. I'm going to stick with the Warriors though, just head to head.
Something in the world. I'm going Warriors too, mate. I'm the same. Yeah, like our man Kyle from Palmer Bet will be shouting because we never tip the Dragons very often. He
That's right.
goes into us the great man. But I'm
Sorry,
sticking. Yeah, sorry, Kyle, but I'm sticking with the Warriors to get the job done and to bounce back this weekend. Eels taking on the Dolphins Friday 8 p.m. TIO Stadium in Darwin. Head to head, Parramatta $1.44, Dolphins at $2.80 at the line. The Eels minus $6.5, $1.90, Dolphins plus $6.5 at $1.90. Key talking points, all thanks to Palmerbet. The Eels coming off a good win against the Cowboys. They head to Darwin now for their annual game in the Northern Territory. For the Dolphins, they came back to earth with a tough loss. They also got hit with some more injuries with the hammer out for a month. It's such an important play. But I thought they were in that game against the Broncos. It was a really high standard game. And do it for Mitch. The Eels have not won back-to-back matches without Mitchell Moses since 2020. They do handle Darwin okay. Don't they, Gids, the Parramatta Eels?
Yeah, they do them a game a year to Darwin for a number of years now. The Para Eels. Yeah, I forgot about the hammer. He's out with the hammy now for, I think he's out for about
Important
6 weeks,
player.
which he's a big loss. Look, any team that's got someone with electric speed, I think Pappenhausen for Melbourne, the hammer for the Dolphins, Kalen for the Knights, even Teddy for the Roosters, like blokes who have got
Reece
electric
Walsh.
speed. Yeah, Reece Walsh, yes, good one. Yeah, so he's a loss. There's no doubt about that. He's a loss. Oh, I like him on paper. I'm just looking at their team list here, their forward pack. Um, I think they're playing some good footy, Matty. The Dolphins at the moment. I think this is going to be an upset for me. I didn't go the Dragons over the Warriors. I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Eels, though,
Oh,
head to
nice
head.
price. Head to head 280, mate. Take that any day of the week.
Yeah.
That is good value. All right. And interesting there, the Eels not winning back-to-back matches without Mitch Moses since 2020. So, yeah, interesting stuff. I'm sticking with the Eels, mate, to get the job done up in Darwin. It'll be a sticky, dewy ball up there. Panthers taking on the Tigers Saturday, 3 p.m. at Carrington Park in Bathurst. Head-to-head, the Panthers $1.18. Tigers at $4.60 at the line. The Panthers minus $13.5, $1.90. Tigers plus 3.5. Or plus 13.5. I'm tipping there at $1.90 as well. Key talking points. Panthers coming off a bye in week number 6. So just freshen themselves up ever so slightly. Tigers come back to reality. They went down to the Dragons last week. Day games, the way to go. Panthers have won their last 10 day games. That's an interesting stat. Something a little bit different from the team at Palmerbet Kids. The
Nice from the boys at
job
Palmerbet. Just a little bit deeper here, mate, into the statistics of the Panthers. Always looking for something new. Very good. Very good.
What do you reckon?
Well, I think it's still 13 plus to the Panthers here. I'm just looking at the Palmerbet app now and pick the margins. I mean, you can get some value. Panthers 1 to 12, 295 at the moment on the app. But I still think it's an opportunity for the Panthers to go 13 plus, mate, especially with the great statistic there. They love playing in the day. The last 10 games, they've had a win under their belt, playing day footy, dry footy. I think I'll be sticking with that one. Panthers 13 plus.
Yeah, Panthers get the job done for mine too. They are a very, very good outfit. Best defense in the competition. Titans, the Gold Coast Titans taking on the Manly Sea Eagles, 5:30 p.m. at Seabus Super Stadium. Head-to-head, Titans 3.25. Manly at $1.34 here at the line. Titans plus $9.5, $1.96. Manly minus $9.5, $1.85. Key talking points here. Another tough loss, as we mentioned earlier, losing Golden Point last week against the Raiders. For the Manly Sea Eagles, they played at a draw with the Warriors in New Zealand. So both teams coming through Golden Point games. Loving the Goldie. The Sea Eagles have won 4 of their last 5 games at Gold Coast. I must admit, Gids, I really struggle. Manly's nearly a side I've put the line through this year. I can't. When I tip them, they go no good. When I don't tip them, they come out and surprise me. So I really struggle to line their form up.
Mate, I thought they should have won last week. I thought they'd done enough to win the game. As I say, the Warriors, it was a valiant effort, the Warriors to come back. But yeah, the charge down at the end where they clipped Sean Johnson's leg going for the field goal. Uh, they got the penalty, 40 metres upfield to take that shot at goal, to take it to extra time. I mean, both teams competed during Golden Point, which was a valiant effort by the Warriors. But I thought the Eagles had done a pretty good job, mate, during that game. Um, Another good game from Daly Cherry Evans. Just continues to be one of the best halfbacks in the comp, certainly at his age. So definitely, mate, on the Eagles for this one. I think there's an opportunity, mate. There's probably for them to be tired and a bit lethargic. It's a big trip to New Zealand and
Yep.
obviously playing that extra time in Golden Point. And they've got another away trip to the Gold Coast this week. So I don't know. Are they going to be able to back up, mate? Back up week to week at the moment. They've been a little bit inconsistent with some of their games this year, but I think they'll do enough, mate, to beat the Titans this week. That's for sure. Titans
I'm,
are. What are you thinking?
I'm going with the Titans for a bit of an upset. Massive.
Yeah,
Yeah, I for exactly what you said. I reckon the big round road trip, and for the sake and the fact that I cannot, I just Manly just they can put in a shocker every now and then.
yeah. No, they've had a couple of shockers, mate, this year.
And I just reckon that the Titans are going to bob up at some point in time. They nearly did last week against Canberra, and I reckon this will be it. They'll be disappointed with what happened last week, and I reckon just head to head, 325, be happy, and get the job done for Desi Hasler.
I'll tell you what, mate, it's got to start with David Fafita. He's one of the biggest blokes on the field and one of the most skillful, but,
Yep.
He needs to be a real leader for the Titans and leading by his actions, that's for sure. And I think I spoke about it last week around him just tucking the ball under the arm and running aggressively and leading the way.
Yep.
That'll inspire his teammates.
He did do that late last week too, so hopefully he fires up a bit earlier and really gets it cranking up. Righto, next game, Broncos taking on the Raiders. Saturday night, 7:35 at Suncorp Stadium, head-to-head, the Bronx, $1.36. Raiders at 3.15, Broncos at the line, minus $7.5, $1.84. Raiders plus $7.5, $1.97. Key talking points here for the Broncos had a strong win against the Dolphins with the return of Reece Walsh and Payne Haas, a couple of superstars. Raiders squeak past the Titans in Golden Point. Now head to Suncorp. Tough one to pick, this one. Broncos have won 5 of their past 6 games at Suncorp, while the Raiders have won 4 of their last 6 games against the Broncos. That's not a bad little record.
Yeah.
Their rank outside.
Yeah, but I think I remember there was a game at the back end of, I don't think it was last year. I think it might have even been the previous year, and it was at Suncorp, and the Raiders had a cracking game up there.
Yeah.
I think they'll enjoy going up there, mate. It's been, again, they're underdogs, which they have been probably most weeks.
Bit of warm weather.
Yeah, a bit of warm weather would be nice, mate. So there's some healthy odds here, just head to head. Raiders 3.15 at the moment. I think they'll be right up for this game, the Raiders. They've been, again, probably been one of those teams flying under the radar a little bit and taking the mentality of no one rates us or no one's gave us a chance at the semi-final. So it's a bit of an us versus them mentality. So, but, mate, I have looked at the team list of the Broncos, and like it's a pretty impressive team list from the halves to the outside backs with some genuine speed, as we've spoken about, and a pretty experienced forward pack. So it's hard to tip against the Broncos for this one, that's for sure. Yeah. I'm going Bronx head to head.
I love the Bronx, mate. Fair dinkum. I just love the way they go about their footy. It's attacking. It's a great style of footy. They leave it all on the field, which I reckon is sensational. So Bronx to get the job.
Comes with a bit of risk, mate. I think that does. You're going to be able to
reward,
rein it in a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's probably what brings them undone sometimes, is probably they are too attacking. They probably need to hunker down sometimes and find that nice happy medium, which I reckon the Melbourne Storm have been able to do for a long time. They can score freely, but then they can also make games real slugfest.
Well, mate, that was one of the best games of the season this year. The Storm versus the Broncos game there a couple of weeks ago. Very impressive game. Both amazing attacking footy.
Yeah, Bronx will get the job done, mate. Hey, Bulldogs taking the Knights. This game is Sunday, 2 p.m. at Accor Stadium. Head to head, Bulldogs 204, Knights $1.78 at the line. The Bulldogs plus 1.5, 202. Knights minus 1.5, $1.80. Talking points here, the Bulldogs obviously heartbreak in Melbourne coming up against a good side. Lost by a couple. They do get some players back from injury. The Knights also had a tough loss at home to the Roosters. They're hoping to get Tyson Frizzle to return after missing the last couple of weeks. And everything points to the Knights. The Knights have won 5 of their last 6 games against the Bulldogs, while the Dogs have not beaten the Knights at a Course Stadium since 2014. Must-win game for your Knights, I reckon here, Gids.
Yeah, no, definitely must-win game, mate. Currently in 14th at the moment. They've had a couple of close losses, one golden point, but all those count, mate. All those little games where you get beat by 1 or 2 or golden point, they start to add up towards the back end of the year. So, yep, Knights need to mate, get back on the winning side of things and string a few together. There's no doubt about that. Tyson Frizzell, he's still going to be out, I believe, for another week. I think, mate, he's the difference in these close games. You know, he brings so much to the Newcastle Knights team from an effort and inspiration point of view and grit. He's a missing part of the cog here, that's for sure. Mate, I think the Knights went down there last year heavily under pressure. Like coach's head was on the chopping block at this stage, from all reports outside of the club, I guess. And they won 68-0, the biggest win in the Newcastle Knights history. So I think they'll be going there with some confidence. They'll probably reflect on that game last year about the adversity that they were under at that stage and utilise that for a bit of motivation, mate, again here.
Yeah, Knights will get the job done for mine, Gids. I reckon your best is very, very good. It's just consistently finding that. Their start last week was unbelievable. And we thought, hang on, sit back. This is going to be a 13-plus victory here. But they let sides in for some reason.
I think there was a trial last week where Brandon Smith went through untouched from sort of 15, 20 metres out. And I know Kalen was carrying a hip pointer injury, and they're excruciatingly painful they are. But, yeah, they just left blokes on the ground. He dived over untouched. It was a poor period, that second 20.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, right, Sharks Cowboys final game Sunday 4:05 at Shark Park. Head to head, Cronulla $1.65. The Cowboys $2.24 at the line. The Sharks minus $3.5 $1.90. Cowboys plus $3.5 $1.90. Key talking points, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Sharks coming off a good win against the Bunnies. They head home where they have won 4 of their last 5 games. Cowboys, they obviously put in a poor performance against the Eels. They had 11 errors and conceded 8 penalties. That is unbelievable. Sharks are hunting. Sharks have won 10 of their last 11 games against the Cowboys and currently sitting on top of the NRL ladder, Gids.
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. As I say, mate, there's not too many headlines about them sitting top of the ladder, and there's not too many headlines of off-field dramas. It's funny that, mate, when you can fly under the radar and still sit at the top of the table and no one's talking about this. I reckon Craig Fitzgibbon will be enjoying that quietly, and he'd be playing a pretty straight bat for any of those questions that the media is trying to drag a comment out of him. So, mate, they're always pretty tough to beat there at Shark Park. Sunday afternoon there'll be a cracking crowd there, I'd say. Cowboys, mate, shot themselves in the foot and have with a couple of their losses this year just around errors. And I think most coaches, share their frustrations around their team's performance when errors, penalties makes it hard to win, makes it hard to put yourself in a position to compete.
Yeah, definitely, mate. So easy, high scoring, low scoring. What do you reckon?
I think they'll be full of confidence and belief, mate, at the moment. I think to be held on to first position, although it's only early in the year, I think that'll inspire them for a big performance this week. I'm going to go 13 plus.
Yeah, right. So comfortable win. Yeah, I think I'll just settle for the head-to-head and take the 4 points and be happy.
Just have a quick look here, mate. On the
325,
right. 13 plus, 325, the Sharks.
Mate, if you
13
can,
plus.
Yeah, if you can, why wouldn't you have a little play around that? So, yeah, no, they're in very good nick at the moment. Righto, Gids, give us your pick 8 for the week, big fella. You've been very, very close without succeeding.
Okay. Yeah, 5 from 8, mate. I'd like to get up to the 7 or 8 from 8 this week. This week, mate, for me, Storm, Warriors, Dolphins, Panthers, Manly, Broncos, Knights, and the Sharks, mate, to wrap things up.
I'm going to round it up, $51.99, so $52.
Oh, yeah.
For your pick 8, big fella.
A couple of outsiders there with Dolphins, definitely.
Yeah,
put a value there. Dolphins, yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go the Melbourne Storm to defeat the Roosters, Warriors to defeat the Dragons, Eels to roll the Dolphins, Panthers to get the job done against the Tigers. I'm taking the Gold Coast Titans to defeat Manly. That's my value add. Broncos will get the job done. Your Newcastle Knights, Gids, will get the job done. And the Sharks to salute. And that's going to get me 64-28. Gids?
Nice one, mate. Yeah, some great
around,
value.
we're both
Titans 325 head to head. Mate, the Gids get on this week.
What have we got, mate?
Myself.
Well, and I can't take
mate,
myself seriously. I cannot take myself seriously in this light. It is. It's just like I'm sitting in the same studio I'm always in, but it's just like I'm glowing or something, isn't it? Like they've
got one of those reflector screens under you, mate.
Well, that's what it's like. Like it's like there it is. There's my real kind of face. There it kind of is. I think it's coming off. Actually, it might be coming off the iPad screen. Right, what's the Gids get on, buddy?
Love it. Mate, the Gids get on. I'm going to be brave this week with the Dolphins, mate. Dolphins to win, 1-12.
Yep.
And Dolphins to score first. So just any point. And then also Dolphins to score first try. So something different this week.
Love it.
Yep, 8.40, mate.
It's called the Dolphin. Little Gids get on this week. $8.40. I absolutely
Dolphin treble.
Love it, mate. Well, I'm going to rock.
What do you got, mate?
Matty's must-have this week. I'm going to go back to Thursday night footy and kick us off to a flyer. Storm to win 13+ against their arch enemy in the Roosters.
Jeez.
So I'm saying big game, big win, big crowd. Make a statement. Pappy to score, Munster to score, and Coates to score. Anytime try scorers. So the three big guns.
Okay. Yeah.
And Gids, I think that's going to be about 32, 35 to 1 or something like this off the top of my head. Just roughly doing the little calculations. Could even be a little bit more, big fella.
As you'll see here at the bottom of the screen, mate, the boys will whip that up into a nice little multi and give you a running market, mate, for that one.
Might even give you a little boost up if you're lucky too. You might be able to power boost it up and get a little bit more. But hey, it's going to be a cracking round. I'm loving the season so far, mate. It's every single game has had something in it, Gids. There's been something happening, or like results that haven't probably gone the way we thought. It's such a difficult kind of rounds to tip, aren't they?
Well, mate, there's some inconsistencies as far as where we thought the table was going to be, mate, at this stage of the year too. So, and then that's came about because there's some genuine upsets every week, 1 to 2 upsets every week, and then, mate, for the majority of the other games, they're pretty tight, So that's what we want to see, mate. We want to see some competitiveness and some upsets, some surprises, and those exciting ones that go to the death of the game, mate, in the Golden Point, potentially. Yeah, so, exciting times.
Been some cracking games, mate, and I'm going to sort this lighting out before next week, mate, because I am glowing here. It's like I've got the old afterglow.
Mate, I reckon get a shade of fake tan on for next week.
Oh, that's me. That is me right there. That's legit. That is, I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's the camera's not really agreeing with me tonight, but I apologize. Even my top's not really picking up the part.
You can't read it.
All we're kind of getting is the bet. Look at this. I don't know what's happening.
Something's reflecting, mate. As I say, mate, get the missus to get the glove out. The fake tan glove. Yeah, that's it.
You don't know much about that. That is too much information, big fella.
Mate, I've had to give the missus back the old
I'll get the old
fake tan rub. Most blokes, if anyone's got a missus, has been to a ball or a special event, you got to get the. Really get the
as long as you're not doing it to yourself, mate. That's the key, big fella.
Nah, well, a bit of leftover, mate. Polish up.
Hey, mate, always a pleasure to catch up with you, big fella. Look forward to catching up more next week. Download that Palmer Bet app, get involved. And as we always say, gamble responsibly and always think about what you're really gambling with. Gids, have a wonderful weekend, buddy, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks, buddy. All the best, punters.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.